Folks, a welcome Wednesday to you all here on the Central Coast, minutes after 6 bells. A little chillier for us on the Central Coast. For all those San Luis Obispoites that start to panic with a little bit of drizzle, a little bit of water. It was nice, refreshing. Maybe fall is in the air. We are here on Living the Run each and every week from 6 to 7 p.m. Here simply to do this. We try each and every week to give you something that you can take home to change your lifestyle to make and maximize your human potential. Sometimes it's in the realm of nutrition more. Sometimes it's in the realm of movement. Sometimes it's in the realm of just getting our head right. But something each and every week, we're giving it to you straight. Nobody comes in and tells us what to sell. Nobody comes in and tells us what to talk about. We will give it to you with no bias whatsoever, other than maybe, Paul Tarek every once in a while. But right now in studio, I'm Rex Stevens in with Melissa Gurgle. No Olympian tonight. So that means no bias, Melissa.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that guy. What do you think? You're a Midwesterner. We start to panic with a little cold. I think it may have dropped into the 40s. We saw just an inkling of drizzle today that you certainly couldn't call that rain. I know there was a couple sections. We got out about 1:15. Seemed like it was going to, but as it does on the Central Coast, it backs off, stays a little gray, stays a little different than Illinois, huh?
Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody, but
feel free to offend.
But people here seem a little soft when it comes to the weather. I lived in Eugene, Oregon for 5 years, so I know what real rain is. And I grew up in Chicago, so I know what real cold is. And what we experienced today was not either of those things.
Hey, I think you're right on. Later in the show, we're going to have Amy Olin, who's an ER physician here. She's competing at Kona Ironman. And I sometimes kind of laugh, you look at the weather, you get on our phones, we can all look at the weather all the time. And, it's kind of one of those things, when somebody's not interested in you, they ask you about the weather, they start talking about the weather, it's kind of like just kind of your cue that, they think you're boring. But one of the things people do is they get on their phones, they look at the weather. If you look at Kona, Hawaii, it kind of reminds me of a cave. I mean, nothing changes, right? It's like 82 high, 72 low. Next day, 82, 72, 82, 72. There's virtually zero fluctuation. It's kind of how it is here on the Central Coast, too. We don't really we don't experience seasons to the degree that you probably do. And you often hear people say that. They say, gosh, I kind of wish I saw seasons a little bit more. How have you felt being out here on the West Coast? From the mental side, more than anything. I mean, I think that's where it challenges us most. Physically, it's very easy to adapt to this stuff. I lived in Atlanta, humid as could be. I lived in Texas. It's Africa hot. You adapt to it. You can get out there still at noontime. You can still get a workout. But the mental side of it is different. Adapting to that, sometimes a little slower.
Yeah, I think when I moved down here, it was definitely an upgrade weather-wise. But moving from Oregon, we had all the facilities to practice indoors and things like that. So I think that I had to be a little bit tougher here, moving here, just training outside all the time. It's your only option. But that being said, the weather here is much nicer. And, you can pretty much wear shorts all year round. You don't have to worry about rain gear. You don't have to do all of that stuff. So I think that was a pretty easy adjustment.
It's an interesting thing you say, you're in the track world and, you hear about the indoor season with track, right? But it's kind of a foreign topic for Californians. I mean, indoor season, what are you talking about? What are they referencing? Because like you said, there's no indoor facilities here. We that's not how we train. We train outdoors. And so you have to get used to a little bit of the elements. Again, this year, a little bit of a rare year in the sense that there's been virtually zero rain. But you're right. It's California. You mentally kind of deal with it different. I just think that what you see time and time again from California athletes, mentally they tend to stay up because they're so used to sunshine. Sunshine is a big, big deal. And when you start getting 4, 5, 6 months in a row of cold indoor stuff, a little tougher on the psyche.
Yeah, I think, in Oregon, obviously rain was a big factor. But we never pole vaulted in the rain or anything like that. If the wind was bad, we could switch the pits around so that we were always having a tailwind. But you kind of build it up in your mind that, oh, I live in Oregon. It rains all the time. If I go to a meet and it's raining, I'm ready to go. I'm used to this. But in reality, we're not used to it. We never trained in the rain, but with the exception of running workouts. But I never pole vaulted in the rain in Oregon, but that mindset definitely helped, And now training in California, I have to kind of draw on that when I go to Drake relays or something like that where the weather is terrible. And I know that I've been practicing in gorgeous sunshine, 75 degrees all year. That is a little bit tougher to, make that
mental transition, if you will. Yeah, definitely. Again, we got it so good here on the Central Coast. I got to say, coming in to the studio tonight, great to see people still out, people making the simple changes, throwing on the beanies, putting on the jackets, the windbreakers, the kind of the long pants, long sleeves, not deterring them. And that's one of the great things about San Luis Obispo. And folks, that is the reality. In order to get ourselves to the health that we want and deserve, as humans, you got to push the limit a little bit. We talk about it every week. We talk about a blood boiler. I know you had a little bit of a more relaxed day. Our blood boiler every week brought to you by the realtors at Team Swayze. You can see them at teamswayze.com. Whether it's your first home, dream home, or investment property, call up Hal Swayze and the team, 805-781-3750. Or again, check them out, teamswayze.com. Well, we did it today. We weren't as prepared as we should have been, showing up in the shorts and the T-shirts. Started to rain early in the run, got a little bit windy. We still hit 6 800s, which was good. We're going to try and get to 10 800s by the end of the year. Did an okay job. It was a lot of fun. 3 of us out there. Props to Matt Smith. He's a new intern with us coming down from San Jose. He hung with us a little bit. Wasn't sure what our workouts were all in store, so we did the 800s. Partner Sandy Sachs was kicking butt as always on the runs, but a good time. Change in weather, definitely change in lung pattern for us. You can tell that different density in the air, but nothing should deter us out here. We should be able to get out. And I got to say this, Los Ranchos, little irony in the school system, Los Ranchos school where my son goes to school, they plan a day, and I think this thing was on the calendar, before school starts. Wednesday, we are going to have as many kids as possible walk to school, ride bikes to school. We've had 0 precipitation. We've had only sun, and it's blazing saddles every morning. And today, the day everybody's supposed to walk to school, ride a bike to school, skateboard, whatever, scoot along, I think it deterred a few people.
Yeah.
And not everybody got the gear on, and maybe it wasn't meant to be at Los Ranchos. But anyway, Blood Boiler, what'd you guys do? Talk about it a little bit, because we're going to talk to Amy Olin in just a little bit out there in Kona, Hawaii, talking Ironman. Guys, ton of races coming up. City to the Sea this weekend. We'll talk more about that later. Last weekend, Lake Lopez Triathlon. It's easy to get involved. Easy to get involved. Not hard. Stay local. You can also go abroad. Saw a couple people that ran the Utah Marathon this last week. But we talked last week to Van McCarty a little bit about just kind of that taper mentality. And everybody knows that, Van just wasn't being honest. Van doesn't taper. Van just goes hard all the time. I got to give him a hard time about that. But, talk about, your guys' rest, how you start to work it in, because the schedule's starting to you're starting to push the schedule a little bit. Right. People are back. We're starting to work hard again. Mm-hmm. But you can't work hard every day because you'll break down. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. What'd you do today to still get some motion, but not break yourself down?
So today yesterday was just brutal. We had my least favorite workout ever, 10 200s with a minute rest. It's just terrible. So we all need a break after that one. So typically on Mondays we do more of a acceleration day where we really work on acceleration mechanics and short sprints. Tuesday then is a speed endurance workout, 10 200s with a minute rest. And then Wednesday is a recovery day for our group. So, everyone's on their own. Today I chose to hit the pool, do some swimming and some aqua jogging and some mobility stuff in there. So a really late day for me, but then tomorrow we'll be back at it. So,
the pool thing is an interesting thing, right? Kind of chilly today, in, out. Talk about aqua jogging, for you and kind of some of the mechanics of going through that? I know a lot of people think it's kind of awkward to be in the pool and try to aqua jog.
Yeah, I would say that aqua jogging is definitely a little bit awkward, but for me, I've had kind of a history of injury, stress fractures, things like that. So for me, it's really important to get a non-impact day in, and aqua jogging kind of allows me to still have that range of motion that running would offer without all the impact. For me, I don't use the belt, which makes it really hard. But it's surprisingly tough. It definitely gets your blood boiling a little bit. And typically I go for short bursts instead of kind of slow, easy, minutes at a time kind of thing. For me, it's just 30-second fast bursts, as many, revolutions as I can get, kind of.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's again, sometimes it's tough as we start to get into this kind of winter season, if you will, harder to get people into the pool. But getting out of some of that weight bearing stuff sometimes is a really good thing. It's a way to rest and it's a way to recover and rehab. Probably indoors in the Midwest when you were doing the pool thing.
Yeah, the whole outdoor pool concept is a little bit foreign to me. At home, outdoor pools are only open during the summer. So any competitive swim team or anything like that trains in indoor pool facilities. So this was definitely a new thing to me, but I kind of like it. You get a tan while you're swimming. With the exception of today, of course. But it's nice.
That's awesome. Hey, we're going to try to get Virginia Merrim on the phone in just a little bit. We'll come after the break to talk a little bit about a controversial topic with regards to breads, if you will. It's a big, big topic today. Everybody's on this kind of wheat bandwagon, gluten issues, etc. And she's got some interesting stuff along the sourdough realm, around some of these starters and how to maybe minimize some of those allergens coming up. And then again, Amy Olin, Ironman triathlete coming out of Kona. We're going to talk to her as well. Big, spunky athlete. She's fantastic. So more from Living the Run here next. ESPN 1280, The Ticket.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280, The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
Did you know that many people endure aches and pains in their feet, legs, and back, but few recognize the solution for some of the more common causes are as simple as a more supportive and comfortable insole? At Cadence Insoles, we understand the insole in your shoe provides the first line of support and comfort for your feet. Designed by physical therapists and recommended by podiatrists, Cadence Insoles provide the elusive combination of orthotic support with the shock-absorbing comfort of an insole. A local business? Visit cadenceinsoles.com for more information. Cadence Insoles. Support made comfortable.
Hey everybody, Tara Kulikoff, San Luis Obispo resident, here to speak on behalf of Gardens by Gabriel and my experience. As a landscaper in the county, they are hands down my top pick. They're honest, knowledgeable, passionate, and detail-oriented. The owner, Gabriel Frank, is a true botanical zealot who adds his own creative ideas while respecting my needs and working with the ecosystem. His crew is phenomenal. They are so helpful and so hardworking. My front yard is absolutely perfect. So dig them at gardensbygabriel.com.
We're back with Living the Run.
Hey, folks, don't forget one of our greatest sponsors, Gardens by Gabriel. Check them out at gardensbygabriel.com. The first step to your dream garden starts with Gabriel Frank and Gardens by Gabriel. Call them at 805-215-0511 or just go to gardensbygabriel.com. Hey, controversial topic out there right now. It's a big, big deal. And one of our guests, one of our favorite guests on this show, is here to kind of get after it. I know it's been a controversy for her. Most of the stuff that she puts out there, food, everybody just kind of relishes in, loves to learn. This is one that people kind of still want to, get a little testy on. They're still not quite sure. They're not getting the right answers. There's information all over Kingdom Come on it, and that is the gluten topic. That is the bread topic. Homemade versus buying in the store. It's a big, big deal. Virginia, we've got a big loaf of bread here sitting there.
I'm breaking bread with you.
We're breaking bread together. It's not even a religious holiday. We should make it one for Living the Run. Let's name it right now. October 9th, 2013. We'll do this again next year, breaking bread. Tell us a little bit about what you're experiencing in the controversial world of bread, how we can kind of get around it and educate ourselves.
Well, my first question is were you scared of the bread? Because that's what's amazing to me, is the first thing is, people look at it and they think, am I allowed to eat this? Which is just such a fascinating topic in relationship to food to me.
Did they ask Jesus Christ that when he sat at the Last Supper? Was that like the question the disciples? I don't know. I got to go back and read the Gospels maybe and get that top question.
The interesting thing about this is, as some people know, I actually work in association with the Celiac Association, which is a true disease in which people have severe gluten intolerance. So the awareness of gluten and what gluten can do to those who are missing that DNA ability to break down gluten is very present in my mind. But what was interesting was I started, very high into fermentation and going into fermentation processes of making hard cider and sodas and sourdough breads, and my family just loved the sourdough bread. And I started posting pictures of it on my blog and got a massive, more than I ever have in almost a year of posting, responses in relationship to how can you do this? How can you promote bread eating? So it was a very fascinating topic for me because people were so avidly upset about this, that I was promoting bread eating. And why was it that I was okay with doing this, but I didn't have other grains and I didn't, support crackers and, other items out there? And that was the key, is a lot of times what they were referring to were products. And what I was showing was something that has literally been around since ancient Egypt, since 1500 BC, this process. And this is a fermentation process, this bread-making process, and it literally consists of three things. Have you guys broken into it yet?
Well, I gotta stop here. I'm a little bit nervous about that last assertion. You mean they were breaking bread before the Last Supper?
I know, isn't that amazing?
No way.
Yeah, vinegars and beer even.
This is why you're getting controversy, Virginia. You're making claims about bread breaking way before.
There's a lot of conspiracy out there right now.
Yeah,
so once you break into it, you'll see it has this beautiful tender inside and very rustic crisp outside, and it is a traditional sourdough. And when I say that, what I mean is this consists of three ingredients. It consists of sourdough starter, which is fermented grain, whatever you choose, if it's wheat or white or rye. Literally, it's just an active live culture probiotics gathered from the air with water, and you just allow it to ferment, just like you would a beer or wine. It has olive oil, and it has a little bit more flour that you've soaked for over 24 hours to, again, help, in the fermentation process. That's all that's in there. I added a little bit of rosemary for you, too. Hey, other than that, that's it.
Is this what they're doing? Virginia, we see, again, talking to Virginia Merrim of Vert Foods, find her at vertfoods.com. We hear it all the time in my clinic. People go over to Europe. They think they have a gluten allergy here, wheat allergy. They get skin issues. They get digestive stuff, irritable bowel things. They go over there. They eat the bread, no issues. They come back, start eating our bread again, and it becomes a disaster. Similar product that you have here compared to what's going on in Europe or around the world?
Exactly. And let me tell you why. It's because bread making was a 3-day process. And we have taken that process away in order to create bread at a rapid rate. Wonder Bread did a huge disservice for the world and for our country, which was this idea that you're supposed to have a loaf of bread every day. That really isn't true. We maybe make a loaf once a week, maybe. The hardest part for people in learning to make their own bread is that it's a 24-hour process, but at 24 hours, you're not doing anything. You're just sticking it in a bowl, covering it with cheesecloth, and letting it do its thing. So it's just so funny for me that people say, well, it takes so long. Well, it's so long of doing nothing, like you sit it out on your counter and then that's it. But the things that I want to talk about with sourdough that's so important for people with what you're talking about with gluten is that the probiotics, the active lactobacillic acid in the fermented gluten that's in there, is actually digesting that gluten. So when people are eating it, it's a pre-digested gluten, and they're actually eating the probiotics. They're not eating the gluten because it's actually soaked and broken down and created this great live culture bacteria. It's also been shown... Oh, go ahead.
No, excellent point. I mean, this is where we're missing the boat, and that's why you're seeing all the time one research paper after another, probiotics, helping in the digestive process. You're just assimilating it into your making of food, which is just kind of a lost art.
Yeah, and it helps with glucose intolerance. It's just this ancestral pre-fermentation that we've just lost touch with. And again, this is a delicious, wonderful way to consume your probiotics. It's an inexpensive way. That loaf that I gave you guys cost me 40 cents to make. So again, it's rustic, it's organic, it's stone-milled, it's delicious. The raw butter that you have there is a local honey with dill with a homemade raw butter. Again, under 50 cents for that meal, and you're just really getting that powerhouse of nutrients. You're getting all your folate, all the things that you need, plus it's just satisfying and it tastes good. So again, it's about sort of reinvigorating people to remember that fear that we've gotten sometimes is good, because what we've gotten it from is from the products that have been so poorly created that have made us sick, but that we need to just embrace the baking process again and do it ourselves, and don't be scared of waiting 24 hours.
Bottom line, where can people learn how to do this?
Well, I actually come to people's homes with starters. They can look me up on vertfoods.com. I also teach classes, and I'm at the Slow Natural Foods every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday answering questions from 12 to 2.
People, do it. You got to find her. You got to eat this.
And I have starter, and I'm giving starter out to the community for free, and amazingly, only 2 people have taken me up on this option. So
take her up on the option. It's crazy. Ridiculous. Come get starter. Virginia, as always, thanks so much. Great bread.
Have a great one. Enjoy the bread.
And by the way, you create that stress for me every time I get the text message from Molly that says, some of that food better get home. And so I have to be so careful about how much I consume. It's tempting throughout the whole show. Tough stuff.
Well, it makes good French toast in the morning, so savor some.
Oh, looking forward to it. Thanks again, Virginia, Vert Foods.
Okay, bye.
You're listening to Living the Ride on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
Do you run, walk, hike, or work on your feet? Are your feet, legs, and back tired after a long day's work? Get Cadence insoles. Designed by physical therapists and recommended by podiatrists, Cadence insoles provide the elusive combination of orthotic support with the shock-absorbing comfort of an insole. This unique combination of support and comfort helps reduce stress and fatigue in the feet, legs, hips, and back, and alleviates many common injuries such as plantar fasciitis. A local business? Visit cadenceinsoles.com for more information. Cadence Insoles. Support made comfortable.
Hey, this is Tara Kulikoff, San Luis Obispo resident. Gardens by Gabriel is hands down my top pick for landscapers in San Luis Obispo County. Gardens by Gabriel is honest, knowledgeable, passionate, and detail-oriented. The owner, Gabriel Frank, is a true botanical zealot. He's able to add his own creative ideas while respecting my needs and working with the ecosystem that I live in. His crew is phenomenal. Their passion truly transformed my beautiful front yard. Dig them at gardensbygabriel.com.
We're back with Living the Run.
Hey, thanks for hanging with us. I know the radio's down, but you guys listening online, thanks for hanging with us. Had a couple technical difficulties. I know. Last commercial thing was a little off, but hey, we're here, and that's all that matters. And, you know, the reality is that that fermentation process, sounds like you know something about fermentation. Melissa, something's going on in your household? Somebody's doing a little fermenting?
Yeah, my roommate's very into fermented foods. I think it smells kind of strange. I don't know if that's normal or not because I don't know much about the process, but there definitely needs to be some discussion about that.
Yeah, next time we'll get to that with Virginia. If you missed any of that, she's giving away sourdough starter. Folks, you got to get this. It's not the same as getting the Wonder Bread or any of these other wheat breads in the store that make you sick. This is an incredible, incredible bread. Like she said, it's been going on for thousands of years, people making it. It's just we've gotten into kind of a rush society. We try to make things too quickly. We overprocess them, and now all of a sudden the body doesn't dig it. And hey, take advantage. This is a really cool thing she's got going. Have her come over to the house and get a starter going and show you how to make bread. Pretty cool stuff. Talk about breaking bread. We're going to break bread right now with an awesome athlete, Ironman triathlete, getting ready for the Kona Ironman out in Hawaii. First thing I got to ask you, Amy Olin joining us right now, is the filter on?
I'll put it on. That should be good.
You know, it's like I said, you know, we're stoked here. Melissa and I, we're good. Olympian Paul Tarek out, so we don't have to worry about the slippages. But you know, always nice to know that an athlete out there every once in a while can throw an F-bomb or two, or maybe get a little excited at a workout. And I got to tell you, you know, I've been out there at Kona. This is going to be my first year in the last 2 that I haven't seen that race. That course is epic. Is it your first race as well on this course?
It is, yep, first time.
What's Coach Elisa Benson have to say about the course? I mean, how does she break down this course and make it feel good?
She's sitting right here. I'll let her answer.
No. You got to answer it.
Amy needs to answer, but definitely she needs to hear it's one step at a time on this course. You can't think about the finish before you get through the swim. Or the bike, for that matter.
Or the bike. You know, the bike seems to be the daunting thing. You know, you look at that long stretch. There's often wind. There's a lot of heat, you know, going forward. What's it look like? What's the weather projections for this weekend's race?
I think it's supposed to be hot and humid and probably some wind. But I did a test ride up to Avi the other day, just like a 40-miler yesterday, and I got a little taste of some of the wins, so at least I'm kind of aware of what I'm in for.
Hey, Amy, talk about it. We had Van McCarty on last week talking a little bit about tapering. What's your approach to tapering coming into a race like this? I think you said this is your sixth Ironman coming in, or at least whereabouts. How do you?
This is my first time with a coach actually writing my workouts for me. So the taper this year has been good. This week's been awesome, and then probably did a little bit more than I had in the past leading up to it. But
yeah, I mean,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, talk about the other races and what you learned in your other tapers, things that maybe you kept versus things that you said, hey, I'm not going to do that again going forward. Of course, you learn from every race.
I think the biggest thing I learned was don't change equipment, don't change anything within 2 months of the race. I got a new bike before Cozumel a couple of years ago, and day after I went on a long ride 6 weeks out, I tore my calf muscle and tried to rehab it before the race, and then it didn't hang in there for me on the run. So I think the biggest thing I've learned is to not try new things within at least 2 months of a race.
It's perceived as though Kona World Championships, this is kind of the granddaddy. When for you getting into this Ironman thing, did you start to put Kona as a goal, and how long did it take you to get there to achieve it?
That's actually a funny story. That my first full distance was in the Challenge Series, which is not an Ironman qualifier. But my next race was Ironman France, and I was very new to the sport, and I took second. And I actually thought that was a qualifying time, but there was only one slot in my age group. So the whole night after the race, I celebrated like I was going to Ironman. I had my money, I was ready to pay, and then I went to the award spot, and I didn't get it. So pretty much ever since that day, I said, now I have to go, because I know how good it feels to think that you've made it. So that was 2011, and it took me another year to qualify, and then I didn't do any Ironmans this year in prep for the race on Saturday.
Okay, so you kind of took a year off, which is kind of interesting to me. I mean, does that mean that you took them off from all races, including half Ironmans? I mean, how did you train in a year? You have to put something on the competition map, don't you? I mean, thinking part of this thing is mental, just getting around other people, trying to push, trying to beat people, and so forth. What did you do as far as your schedule if you weren't putting in Ironmans?
I didn't take the year off from racing. I just took it off from full distance because it's such a taxing and long effort that I did a lot of halves there, a couple halves. I did Wildflower, and I did Boulder, and a few smaller road races and a marathon. So I kept racing, just not Ironman distance. Expectations
on this race going in?
Have fun. I have obviously dream goals would be 10:20 overall. More realistic, probably in the higher 10s, 10:40. If I could PR, 10:45 is my PR, so I would love to break that if I can. It really is dependent on the conditions, though. But my body feels probably better than it ever has leading into a race.
Talking to Amy Olin here, she's out in Kona now getting ready for Ironman Championships. To us sitting in studio, thinking about having fun out on that course, what does fun mean? I was there 2 years ago, Chrissy Wellington, she came down, she made the turn on the run, she was at the halfway point. The announcer was, kind of going wild. She's got this kind of big smile across her face. It looked like she was having fun, but we know she's suffering. And we know that there's going to be suffering throughout the race. You're pushing human potential. You're pushing humanism, if you will. What does it mean to have fun to you? How do you judge or how do you grade that element of fun in a race that is that long and that daunting?
Well, I think you go into it knowing that there's going to be pain. Obviously it's such a long day that you're bound to feel a lot of pain and discomfort, but just knowing that you can push your body to do something so extreme and kind of ridiculous in itself is fun to me. And seeing people cheering, and my parents are here and a couple other people are here to support me, and just seeing everybody excited for you while you're out there doing this extreme event that's fun. Everybody's definition of fun is different, but to me I like seeing how hard I can push my body, and I like the results and seeing what I can do at the end of the day.
How do you define, the difference between what you're doing, human potential, and trying to push yourself, and as you said, the body limits, versus exercise that is more based for longevity? Do the two cross? Because one of the things we hear, and I even heard it in my clinic tonight, a guy told me, he says, man, when I look at some of those elite cyclists or elite runners, sometimes they look kind of older or they look like they're aged, even though they're putting up incredible numbers. You and I both know, you're in the healthcare industry, that there is a point where things can kind of flux, where you can start to age the body and sacrifice it a little bit to reach that human potential. How do you view those two things? Longevity-based exercise or wellness-type exercise, wellness kind of catchword, versus, performance-based?
That's a great point, because it is. I will be the first to admit that doing full-distance Ironman is probably not great on your body. It's hard on the joints, it's hard on muscles, it's hard on your brain. But I kind of found like that compromise, where I feel like I can do this, once a year, maybe a couple times a year, big races like this, and then try to ease off afterwards and give my body the rest that it needs. So I won't do anything after the race for probably a month. I'll do, light activity and things that I don't get time to do when I'm training hard. But, I'm well aware that I could need new hips and new knees by the time I'm 50 if I keep doing this.
Melissa's in studio. She's a pole vaulter. Paul's often here, and as a decathlete, we talk about coaching. It's crucial to get with a good coach, a coach that fits you. What is it about Elisa Benson that has helped you out, made you take that next stride? And maybe even, what was it that made you recognize to get to the next level you needed a coach?
That's an easy part to answer. I was really amotivated last year. After I qualified, it was just, I was tired and I didn't really want to race. I wanted to do Kona, but I just didn't have the enthusiasm for the sport as much. And so in January, I kind of acknowledged that if I wanted to give it my best shot, I would need someone to be pushing me to make my workouts for me. And Elisa was a very easy fit. She's local and she's an awesome athlete herself. So that was no problem. And she's been great, just personalizing my schedule since I work a lot of night shifts. So she, looks at my work schedule and makes my programs specific to my needs, and she's there to answer questions and sitting right next to me right now and support. So she's been great. She's been a great fit.
Hey, jump Elisa on the phone here real quick.
Yep.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, Elisa, I tell you, you're going out there. You've been out in these Ironmans more than just about anybody. I mean, you got a veteranship with these races. You spent a lot of time around the sport, been involved. The experience is vast. What's it like being on the coaching side?
Well, the coaching side is very rewarding, actually, more so than I ever expected, especially since I'm really not racing that much anymore. I feel I can put what I would put into my workouts and help Amy just meet her goals. And the Ironman was always a passion of mine, and so it's really good to see her be able to have that chance to do the World Championship and just meet more of her goals and have a great performance on Saturday.
Yeah, what's the difference in mental approach for you? You're gonna be more on the sidelines. You're watching. You got an athlete you've been working with. You're watching them try to reach their goals. There's going to be suffering out there. There's going to be points for Amy that are going to be rough. What's it like for you as the coach in a long 9, 10, 11-hour set, just kind of trying to track along, knowing that in some ways you're kind of helpless sitting there? Talk about the mental difference between being the athlete and being the one sitting watching.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I feel I would always rather be out there than watching. But when you're out there, it's just a certain form. If you're feeling great that day, even so, there's still a lot of what I call suffer management, but you just want to, you're focused, you're doing it, you feel great. So it really does go by quickly. Watching, it's inspiring no matter what, but just, everyone's so fit, and it really is a long day watching. Will you have any contact with Amy at all during the race? How do the rules work over there in the coaching realm? Well, it is very difficult. I'm lucky enough to have an access credential, so I will get to see her right out of the transition area in the on the pier, which is very limited access. So I will see her there, and then it's not a super spectator-friendly course. There are definitely points where you can get out and about and see her. So I will just be trying to follow her as best I can. They have, on Ironman.com, they have a live athlete tracker, and so if you have your phone or that kind of thing, you can check in and see if they finished the bike or seen the run for people at home. And then here you get a good feel for where everyone is. You of course, what time they went out on the bike and what time you expect them back, and So there's a few chances to see everybody, but
I know, Lisa. You know, of course, Eric, your husband, big into the triathlons as well, huge knowledge. Did you ever have a personal coach yourself, or did you go through multiple coaches in your long career with Ironmans?
No, when I first started, it was a lot of trial and error in the sport. So it's amazing how far the sport has come in terms of not only equipment, but just the knowledge and research that's been done as far as performance in triathlon. So a lot of things I did were trial and error, and I did have a little bit of guidance on the run. But the cycling, I had gotten into bike racing, so I just used a lot of my knowledge there. And then from my kinesiology degree, just having a little bit of science background, and just you try to figure it out, and so yeah, a lot of experiences helped me. I'm trying to give Amy all my secrets.
Good stuff. Hey, throw Amy back on the phone real quick.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Amy,
I'm
you
back.
there? Amy, you're there.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck. I got to say this, Elisa talks a little bit about trial and error. Let's go with less error on this race, and we were expecting good things out of you.
Thanks a lot.
And I appreciate you coming on. And just tell me this. When you talk about a filter going through, what are the things that you do during that time where things start to suffer a little bit and the body starts to break down, but hey, I still got another 50 miles on the bike, or I got another 13 miles on the run. What are the little tips that you do to be able to get yourself through those moments, knowing that you'll probably hit a good positive spot somewhere else along the race?
Yeah, I just try to take myself out of the body so that I'm not feeling the pain, and try to think about positive things in my life and really just positive talk. It's easier said than done, but just positive thinking. And I don't really have any mantras or anything that I repeat to myself, but just kind of looking out at the ocean and daydreaming about a good day or a favorite time or a memory. That's kind of what I do to try to get out of those deep, dark holes that I'm bound to get in.
Hey, let there be light, right? Forget the darkness, let there be light. Hey, thanks again for coming on. Do great. We will stay tuned to you on Ironman.com. Say hi to all the other locals, Karen and Van, and anybody else that's out from San Luis Obispo. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Amy Olin, Ironman triathlete. Doesn't sound like fun to me, Melissa.
Not at all. I am such a sprint athlete. It's not even funny.
Oh, boy. We're going to come back and wrap up the show. Tips and takeaways. We got to pay some bills with some commercials here. Make sure this show can keep going. And more from Living the Run here on ESPN 1280. Next.
Hey guys, Paul Terek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only
You're
one
listening
place
to
myself and
Living
fellow
the Run
athletes go
on
when it comes to
ESPN
chiropractic
Radio,
care on the
1280
Central
The
Coast.
Ticket.
With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
Did you know that many people endure aches and pains in their feet, legs, and back, but few recognize the solution for some of the more common causes are as simple as a more supportive and comfortable insole? At Cadence Insoles, we understand the insole in your shoe provides the first line of support and comfort for your feet. Designed by physical therapists and recommended by podiatrists, Cadence Insoles provide the elusive combination of orthotic support with the shock-absorbing comfort of an insole. A local business? Visit cadenceinsoles.com for more information. Cadence Insoles. Support made comfortable.
Hey everybody, Tara Kulikoff, San Luis Obispo resident, here to speak on behalf of Gardens by Gabriel and my experience. As a landscaper in the county, they are hands down my top pick. They're honest, knowledgeable, passionate, and detail-oriented. The owner, Gabriel Frank, is a true botanical zealot who adds his own creative ideas while respecting my needs and working with the ecosystem. His crew is phenomenal. They are so helpful and so hardworking. My front yard is absolutely perfect. So dig them at gardensbygabriel.com.
We're back with Living the Run.
Left Lane Sports, people. leftlanesports.com. Gear you need, prices you want, service you deserve. I'm telling you, the gear these guys have, the price is unbeatable. If you're into outdoor stuff at all, if you're into fitness at all, check these guys out, leftlanesports.com, and you will get something good. You know, we were just talking about at the break, a lot of times we're pushing the envelope a little bit too much, and we're going to talk about this in a couple shows, a couple weeks from now, I think it is. Next week, we got a guy, Ben Greenfield, bengreenfield.com. You want to listen to this guy. He's got some great podcasts out there. He's doing Kona Ironman as well, so we're going to catch up with him after that and then talk about some of the podcasts he does in the health and fitness world. But one of the things that needs to be discussed routinely is overtraining, you know, and you know, Amy kind of touched on it. I thought she did a decent job saying, hey, look, probably what I'm doing is aging me, you know, and so for so many of us, we talk about it all the time, is you got to use exercise to improve your health, to maximize your health, hormonally, digestively, heart, muscle, doesn't matter, immune system, but we can overtrain, and we have to start to pay attention to those signs. It's like you go for a workout and you feel worse, it's a sign. You know, you go for a workout and you sleep poorly, that's a sign. You know, you go for a workout and you have bad digestion after, it's a sign. You're chronically getting sick, it's a sign that there is something potentially to come that is going to potentially give you problems down the road. And, you know, the reality is what do we do? Well, I just take stimulants if I'm tired, right? just need more Rockstar, maybe a little more Red Bull, you know, and we stop listening to 5-hour energy. It kills me because, again, people toe the line all the way up to death. But other conditions, autoimmune conditions, other muscle disorders we were talking about, things that can be pretty tough. Got to think about that when we're athletes. And Ironman is just one of those. More of a, you know, I don't want to say more of a testosterone-based thing, but it's more of a competitive thing for sure. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a good thing for the aging population.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you said, it's kind of, especially in competitive athletes and people that are just constantly trying to be the best at everything that they're doing, it's hard to kind of admit that you need to take a step back or ease off. I know that I have trouble doing that, but like you said, you know, the little signs, you know, you're having trouble sleeping, you feel worse after you do a workout.
Yeah, you wake up tired.
Yeah.
You know, classic.
You're getting sick all the time.
Yeah.
It's definitely important to pay attention to those things.
Yeah, and you know, it goes back to the beginning of our show. You know, we talked about putting in those rest workouts. So it doesn't mean you don't do anything, but it just means that intensity level can't be balls to the wall all the time.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we have to pull it back a little bit. We got to listen to the body, you know, go forward. We got to eat good foods. We got to eat fermented foods. We have to keep the digestive tract good. If we don't do that, we're going to have a lady on. I think she's coming in on 3 weeks from bodyecology.com, and we're going to just talk gut. You know, we'll get to talk a little poop, which should be kind of fun. It can be kind of crazy if Paul Tarek's here talking poop. But and let me say this. We got to congratulate Paul Tarek. I saw his little daughter today. She's just over a week old, Justice. Sweet, sweet girl. His wife looks wonderful as always. And Shiloh did a great job. So in addition to the Tarek family, and cute kid, congrats, Paul. We'll see you next week. Hey, can I say this? You know, people talking about the government shutdown and all this kind of stuff, and our idea is not to get into politics, but it's about to talk health and fitness. I had a patient come in the other day, and we were talking about the national parks being shut down. And, you know, one of the things that the government told us was that the national parks are non-essential, right? And so they're going to shut down non-essential things. And I thought this was kind of interesting because this lady came in, and she was in college in the 60s. And she was in college in 1963 when John F. Kennedy was shot and killed. And it was, what she told me, she was at Fresno State University, and she told me, she said, I could have gone out, we could have partied, we could have drank away our sorrows, could have smoked a bowl, could have done some things that probably weren't the best to deal with our stress. She says, you know what my friends and I did? We went to Yosemite, and we hiked Half Dome, and we got in with nature, and we reduced our stress, and we grieved, and we got through it. And for this country to suggest that these national parks are non-essential, they are stress relieving, they are grounding, they are just massive, massive pieces for us reducing stress and getting our health to reconnect where it's supposed to do, get our cells to get back to homeostasis, as Dr. Chestnut told us a couple of weeks ago. It's a tough thing to see the national parks being shut down, I think, in this case. And I think we're taking it maybe a little bit too lightly. But when you talk about stress relief, national parks are there for us and a good element of the psyche.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. The national parks being shut down is kind of something that, like a resource that we took for granted, maybe. And now that's not even an option right now. It's crazy.
It totally seems crazy. I gotta talk about something else too. Sometimes people just aren't honest with their health, and it kills me. Almost everybody checks a form, says my health is good. It's 350 pounds, they smoke. Yep, health feels pretty good. They're just not honest. And I saw this high school football game the other day, and it was so classic. I was at a restaurant, they put up these kids, and they're showing them do the pregame meal the night before, right? And of course they list what the kids ate. So the list goes up there, and all you see is organic salad, banana, lasagna, and water, right? And you're thinking, hey, it's not a bad meal, probably a decent thing. Look like maybe some homemade lasagna, great salads, a little banana, some water, nice meal. They pan to the kids eating. The first thing you see is a bowl full of white bread, looks like Wonder Bread, and pitchers of pink lemonade.
Oh.
I don't get it. Be honest. Why they have to try and put the picture out there that we feed these kids this brilliant food, all this organic vegetables, this organic fruit. We got this nice lasagna for them. And the first thing you see as a viewer is artificially flavored and colored pink lemonade laden with sugar and some crappy white bread. White rolled bread. I don't get it. Why can't people be honest with what they say? It's just a classic deal we see over and over and over again. People don't really want to make the health changes. They want to say they made the health changes. They get on Facebook, they get on Twitter, they say all this stuff. They don't put it into action. It's getting old.
I completely agree, although I find that people think that lemonade is a healthier option because it's not carbonated. It's not pop. So.
Oh, gosh. Classic. What a way to end this show. Hey, folks, next week, Ben Greenfield, bengreenfield.com. Talking Kona Ironman. We'll wrap that up. Check out City to Sea this weekend, Sunday. You got to go, whether you're in it or attending. Be a fan. Cheer those people on. It's a local race, a great race. Olympian Paul Tarek back next week. I'm Rex Stevens for Melissa Gergel and our guest, Amy Olin. Amy, run well this weekend. Live the run. Ironman.com. Follow her.